War isn't just about battles and machines. It's about survival. And sometimes survival comes down to the clothes you wear. In WWII, the environment was often deadlier than the enemy. Cold, wet and relentless exposure killed as efficiently as bullets. Standard-issue uniforms, rooted in old traditions, were no match for these conditions. Wool, waxed canvas and rubberized fabrics were heavy and failed when soaked. A rain-soaked greatcoat could weigh as much as a child, draining warmth and energy. Waxed canvas cracked, water seeped in, and insulation vanished. Instead of protection, these fabrics trapped cold water against the skin, accelerating hypothermia. Rubberized gear didn't breathe. Sweat built up, then chilled the wearer from within. Whether from rain or sweat, the result was the same cold, wet and vulnerable soldiers. The very gear meant to protect them became a liability. In the end, the elements claimed countless lives, not by force, but by the slow, creeping chill. The battle wasn't just against the enemy, but against the failure of their own equipment. For many, the greatest threat was the environment itself. The uniforms of the time simply weren't up to the task. Survival became a race against time and the elements. The wrong fabric could mean the difference between life and death. The need for better protection was clear. The search for a solution had begun. Nowhere was clothing failure more deadly than in the North Atlantic. Allied convoys and their air crews braved freezing waters, but a crash meant facing the sea itself. In water just above freezing, survival time was measured in minutes. Standard flight suits, canvas or leather, became waterlogged, dragging men down and stealing their heat. Even if rescued from the wreck, soaked clothing continued to siphon away body warmth. The wind finished the job. Rescue often came too late. The sea was winning not by force, but by exploiting the weakness of their gear. Churchill and military planners knew losing trained pilots to cold was unacceptable. They needed a fabric that could protect against the initial shock, keep warmth in, and allow survival until rescue. It had to be waterproof, breathable, light and strong. Traditional materials had failed. The challenge was immense, but the need was urgent. The search for a new solution was underway. The fate of countless airmen depended on it. The answer would come from an unexpected place. A new idea was needed. Fast. The breakthrough came from the Shirley Institute in Manchester, where scientists turned to Egyptian cotton. They wove the longest, finest fibres into an incredibly dense fabric, ventile. The secret was in the weave. Tightly packed threads created a material that was light, breathable and comfortable. When dry, it allowed air and water vapour to pass, preventing sweat build-up. But when wet, the cotton fibres swelled, sealing the fabric and blocking water. This transformation kept pilots dry and warm, even after ditching in the sea. Ventile suits were simple, one-piece garments worn over uniforms, light, flexible, and not bulky. For the first time, pilots had real protection against the cold Atlantic. It was a quiet revolution, born not from new chemicals, but from clever weaving. The fabric worked with the body, not against it. Pilots could move freely, focus on survival, and endure until rescue. Ventile gave them a fighting chance. The difference was immediate and dramatic. A weaver's loom had outsmarted the sea. The era of smart survival fabric had begun. Ventile's brilliance was its simplicity. No coatings, just structure. When wet, the cotton fibres swelled, sealing the fabric and creating a waterproof shell. This trapped a layer of air, insulating the wearer and slowing heat loss. Unlike old materials, Ventile stayed light and didn't become a burden in the water. Pilots could swim, climb into rafts and conserve energy. The suit bought them time, precious minutes that meant the difference between life and death. Survival rates soared. Airmen who would have perished in minutes were now rescued alive after an hour or more. The RAF estimated Ventile suits saved 80% of downed aircrew in the sea. It was a triumph of natural material and smart engineering. Sometimes the best technology is elegantly simple. Ventile proved that understanding nature can solve the toughest survival challenges. The impact was immediate and profound. The old battle against the elements had a new champion. For many, Ventile was the difference between rescue and tragedy. A fabric had changed the odds of survival. Ventile's wartime success was undeniable. It became the RAF standard and saved countless lives. But after the war, new synthetic fabrics like nylon emerged. Ventile was expensive to produce, requiring premium cotton and precise weaving. Nylon was cheap, strong, and easy to mass-produce. The military and consumers embraced synthetics, overlooking Ventile's subtle advantages. Rubberized nylon replaced Ventile. Breathability and comfort were sacrificed for cost and convenience. Ventile faded into obscurity, cherished only by a few outdoor enthusiasts. Its unique properties were forgotten by the mainstream. A life-saving technology was sidelined by economics and the rush for the new. The lessons of Ventile were nearly lost. But a small community kept its legacy alive. They valued performance over price and comfort over convenience. The story of Ventile became a cautionary tale. Ventile's story is more than history. It's a lesson for anyone facing the wild. First, structure matters more than coatings. Performance built into the fabric lasts longer. Second, don't underestimate natural fibres. Cotton and wool, used wisely, can outperform synthetics. Third, survival is about buying time. The right gear extends your window for rescue. The Ventile suit didn't make pilots invincible, but it gave them a fighting chance. When choosing survival gear, ask, which item gives me the most time? Finally, knowledge must be preserved and shared. The principles behind Ventile were nearly forgotten, saved only by a dedicated few. Today we have more information than ever. Let's not lose hard-won survival wisdom. Test, understand, and pass it on. The right fabric can still mean the difference between life and death. The lessons of Ventile endure. Survival is woven from the choices we make and the knowledge we keep.